Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. محمد البحر, a Kuwaiti keynote speaker. He's going to speak to us about the unexpected life with T1D. Please welcome him to the stage.
Do you hear me, everyone? السلام عليكم جميعا ومشكورين على الحضور ومشكورين على الدعوة. صراحة أنا وايد أفتخر أن في مؤتمرات بالدول العربية خصوصا دول مجاورة تستضيف المصابين بالسكر أو أي حالة طبية مزمنة أو خلينا نقول مثلا نوع من أنواع الإعاقات، لأن هذا الشيء ما نشوفه وايد بالريجن. Thank you so much. I'm going to be talking in English. Thank you so much, Al Musa Hospital, for providing me the opportunity to be able to talk about what people living with diabetes in the region are facing. Thank you so much once again. Okay. Why is it unrealized life with diabetes? Why is it unrealized? We're going to be discussing this in the presentation. When did I realize that I have diabetes and going in good terms with it? This was me when I was about 6 months old. So after that, in 1 year and 5 months, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And it was really difficult at that time to manage diabetes. It was very difficult because the medication provided was only for survival. It wasn't for managing it and eating any type of food I need for my daily usage. If I'm exercising, I'm traveling, and so on. I have a twin, so I want you to guess which one is me and which one is my twin. And both of us have type 1 diabetes, but I was diagnosed when I was 2, he was diagnosed when he was 7. So I like to ask questions. I want people to be active. So which one am I? Am I the right one? Left one? Yeah, the left one. I'm the cheerful one, he's the serious one. This was in Vienna. I was just able to look at the cake. I wasn't able to eat the cake. Okay, afterwards, about 1 year, Kuwait was invaded by Iraq, and I was in Kuwait the whole duration of the invasion. So my dad actually is always looking ahead of things. So he kept the medication in storage. There was the lack of electricity, outages. So what do? We have a generator, and with the generator, we always check that the fridge is functioning, or we have do you remember the old kind of boxes that have ice in them, and we put the medication. This was me in teenage years. This, you can see the Novo pen. I'm taking my injection and having a snack with my younger brother. That was in 2000. Family affairs. I am very fortunate. I am very, very, very fortunate to have parents as my parents, because they did a lot so I can be alive now without complications with diabetes. My mother always provided me with the emotional aspect. My father always provided me with the patience, and I have to be always there to check my blood, always there to be able to take care of my health and to avoid complications. Even when we went to the doctor, before taking our HbA1c tests, usually we have a lowering blood sugar camp before taking the HbA1c every 3 months to 4 months. So when we did that, we usually have better sugar levels. Puberty rebellion. Actually, puberty, let's start when I was 13. My doctor actually, Dr. Azza, she decided to go back to Cairo because her husband was ill and she wanted to be attending her husband the whole time. So she actually took a decision just to leave and maybe come back someday. So when she went to Cairo, I lacked communication with doctors. I lost empathy because they lost communicating with me in a more humanitarian way. That was, if you did this, you'll not have this. You take your medications. That's it. 1, 2, 3, and you go back home. That's it. Doesn't matter how you feel. Doesn't matter how your body functions. Doesn't matter how you're growing, because during those years it was really difficult to have stable blood sugar levels. It was really difficult during puberty. Even with now medication that you do have, with the pump and the Lantus and the Levemir, it's really difficult to have it in a stable range because of the body growth and all those hormones and body growth. So you can see lack of diabetes knowledge, frequent hypos, lack of diabetes control, which to lack of self-esteem, which led to depression, and I realized I was going through chronic depression for 10 years. I didn't know that. So it's from 1996 till 2012, I was going through all those kind of drama in my life with diabetes. And I didn't speak about my diabetes. I usually like take the injection in the toilet, or usually prick my finger somewhere hidden. So I was not very much aware about my condition. Okay, discrimination over the years. I've been discriminated when I was in school because I was having a hypo, and my teacher was asking me a question, and I couldn't answer because I have a lack of focus during my class. So she actually called my mother and told her that your son is retarded. It's proper to teach him in governmental schools. You take him in a private school, and so on. And then I hated math. I didn't love math because of that incident. And when I took my first job and I was filing the documents of other employees, I went through my file and I was putting one of the documents in my file, and I saw that the negative point I have compared to someone who smokes or compared to someone who has anger issues, that I have diabetes, which is the negative point. My second job, they told me I'm lazy because just once in 4 years I needed to go to the doctor to do my regular checkups, just once. Because during those years I didn't even care. I used to do governmental job projects, major projects that cost millions, and I was the one in charge. And I delegated the task to a colleague of mine, and he said, I'm not going to do that job. I said, why? He said, you're crazy. I'm not going to take any kind of task from you. I said, okay, fine. Up to you. Even I was mentioned when I was supposed to be promoted that you're not supposed to be promoted because he has diabetes. He can have a hypo during a meeting or a hyper. My ex-wife, when she got married to me, she thought that life with the person living with diabetes is just living with a person, not living with a diabetes. Although a person living with diabetes is part of me. It's not the whole of me. It's just a small fragment of my personality. I like responsibility, mentioned by few friends. Okay, when I was 28 years, that's the leap that happened in my life. That's the wake-up call. So got married, got a divorce in the same year, hypoglycemia coma, and then I joined apnea coach. So when I went to a coma, depends on each person point of view. I saw the universe when I went to the coma, and I saw beautiful stars, orange, blue, pink, and I heard a voice telling me, it's not your time to die yet. You have things to do. So this is just the beginning. So when I woke up, I realized that this is not a life, a person living with diabetes, and he's 28 years old, that he should go through all those kind of hassles and embarrassments and depression. So one day I won a draw, which is actually, that draw actually is a motorcycle, and that guy who bought the motorcycle from me is a guy working in the Dasman Diabetes Institute. So I told him, can I have a tour in Dasman? He said, yeah, you can. So when I was passing by, I saw my doctor who was treating me when I was young, and I hugged her and I started crying, and she said, "What went wrong?" I said, "I went through this whole hypo, got married, got the divorce, and so on, so on. Nobody's understanding what I'm going through." So she said, "It's gonna be okay, and it's gonna be fine." Only those two words. It's gonna be okay, and I assure you it's gonna be fine. And things will be better. Sometimes I just need a one sentence you can give me, it will give me a boost to do what I need to do in the future. And you're gonna understand the hassle that I went through. So she said, "Come on Sunday. Can you come on Sunday, please? I need to check your HbA1c." She checked it. She said, "It's 5.5. I said, "Yeah, it's fine. It's in the right range." She said, "No, you're having frequent hypos. If you kept on having frequent hypos, you could pass away." So I joined Daphne course, which is dose adjustment for normal eating. It's a program in Germany, adopted by the UK, and then adopted in Kuwait. The program, actually, the benefits of this program is it teaches people living with diabetes how to manage it without going to the doctor. You need the doctor in the beginning, then you can manage it, and you meet other people living with diabetes. When I met them, I know I'm not the only one who's diagnosed with diabetes. There are other people going through all the process I'm going through. So that's the calm I went through. The bonding. This is Dr. Azza. So I was her patient since I was 5 years old till I was 13. Then I was her patient from 28 years old till now. Daphne course is one of the changing experiences I had, because the people who are delivering the program are actually people who listen to you first. What do you need to do? What do you think? What do you recommend? What do you suggest? We recommend this. How about this? So that actually added an experience to it. So Dr. Azza, then this is Dr. Iba, who's actually the one managing Daphne course. And Dr. Mira Al-Arroy is my current doctor. Why did I have a shift in changing doctors? Because in the beginning, I needed a mother. I didn't need a doctor. I needed a mom. Second doctor that I had is Dr. Iba. She was very stiff. She was very professional, but she was really good. But she was hard sometimes. So once I went to the clinic, I came in and I was attaching the pump for the sensor for the pump for 3 months. It's such a hassle to have this sensor for 3 months. It could cause a lot of rash and cause a lot of issues in the skin. So she said, what, you have a lot of hypos. Why are you having a lot of hypos? You're not doing your job properly. I said, no, I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job the best way I can. And the diabetes educator is doing her job the best she can. But my job starts when I leave the door. 24/7, I don't take a vacation, and I have to check my blood sugar on a regular basis. I said, your job starts when I come to the clinic, and that's it. It takes half an hour, 1 hour. So hopefully in our next appointment, the attitude would change a bit. And then you don't ask me that you should change the doctor. A doctor should never do that, because you're leaving your responsibility towards me. You deliver your promise from Daphne course, and then afterwards I will decide. As a patient, as a person. I'm not a patient, I'm a person in the beginning. So then I transferred, when I got my HbA1c to the right levels, to the required levels, I changed to Dr. Mira, and which is I see as a more motherly doctor than rather more than a professional doctor, because I'm in the required range and I don't need all the techniques that I have learned in the previous years. Diabetes healthcare provider is Dasman. I do have my diabetes treatment in Dasman. It's one of the best clinics, but the problem is with Dasman is they don't involve their patients in their decision making. I've been there a week ago, and I was having low blood sugar because I was fasting to do my HbA1c, and they kept me waiting for a while just to do my blood sugar level testing, and then afterwards I needed to do the papers, and I'm not supposed to carry on papers to get my insulin pump supplies, because it's usually such a hassle to have a stamp and then afterwards the approval of the doctor, and you know, those kind of bureaucratic procedures. So those are the prawns: friendly staff, Daphne course, accessibility. You can get your medication from the same place and do all the annual checkups in one place. Okay. Throughout the years I lived with diabetes, I noticed that I'm not a weak person. I'm a very strong person, and each person living with diabetes is such living with a really demanding condition. It's a very demanding condition. That patients and healthcare providers work together, that they're not working each one separately. You have to listen to me, I have to listen to you. So I'm just gonna go quickly through the next bit. This is the evolution of medication I used to have. Okay, the pump was suggested by my doctor. The most difficult part of the pump was the fasting. So you have to fast not less than 4 hours every day till 8 hours every day, and you have to do the testing a couple of times till the basal is within the required range. You can see the difference in the pricking of having the needles. It's with the pump 104, with the injections you have 1,820 injections per year. So it's a huge number. Involvement in charity, I was involved with Blue Circle campaign. I was the vice president of Blue Circle campaign. And then I have established Diabetes Ambassadors program. This is previous events of the Diabetes Ambassador. This is the social media account if you need to follow and know what we're doing. Okay, I'm also involved with insulin access, insulin for all, for insulin access for people living in low-income countries. This is the campaign for Syrian refugees. We raised 9,388. That amount was actually, we bought insulin for the ones living in war zone. Diabetes and travel, I created the diabetic traveler account, which I put tips for people living with diabetes. Previous trips. Advocacy, my previous advocacy, that was in Vienna, the one on the left, and the one on the right is in Tasman Diabetes Institute, the release of Blue Circle website. I'm just gonna focus on this slide because this slide has a lot of meaning in it. You can see in the photo there that my twin is standing in the photo. So finally we started to talk about diabetes and we go to the gym together. All of the guys in the photo, except a couple of them, diagnosed with type 1. And there is one guy diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. When we did the trip, the organizers of the trip, Dr. Abdullah Mdawa and Walid al-Badr, they said, we're not gonna take them in this trip in the airport. It's such a, it's gonna be such a risk kind of a trip to take 11 individuals living with type 1 diabetes. But one of the things that we took in mind is you have to have experience with your diabetes. You have to have knowledge. So all of them have type 1 and they have a Daphne course experience. So all of them are maintaining their blood sugars within the required range. All those activities were done by people living with diabetes. 8 hours of working out. You're doing exercises for 8 hours per day. No severe hypo, no severe hyper. How diabetes changed my life? I think if I wasn't diagnosed with diabetes, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be helping others managing their life and managing diabetes in this way. It wouldn't make me look at life as a challenge to be as good as I can be. Even to care about others, to understand others, their needs, their requirements. I highly recommend people working in the healthcare is to listen to their patients, is to ask them for their opinions, let them be heard, be part of the decision making. My wish, accessibility for insulin for everyone living with diabetes, is that there is a final cure for diabetes. as well adapting urbanized city layouts that would help us live a healthy and a productive life. We would love to have to go to work by cycling, or going to work by doing some jogging or some walking, like 3-5 kilometers. That would help us a lot in maintaining our sugar levels. This is the account I have for the diabetic traveler. I also, if you need any inquiries or information, I will be gladly to answer that. This is a presentation dedicated to my friend from India, Varma, who passed away due to diabetes complication in 2014. Thank you so much.
Thank you.